As of July 2015, the Delta Airlines mainline fleet comprises 809 aircraft in service. Prior to the merger with Northwest Airlines in 2009, Delta Airlines operated an all-Boeing and McDonnell Douglas fleet, but incorporated Northwest's Airbus aircraft into its fleet following the merger. Current fleet: Delta operates the largest fleets of the Boeing 717, the Boeing 757, the Boeing 767, and the McDonnell Douglas MD-90 of any operators worldwide. Two of Delta Euro unregistered trademark SMD-90s were assembled at Jiangwan Airfield in Shanghai. In early 2011, Delta began to discuss narrowbody replacement plans for the DC-9s, MD-88s, older A320 and 757-200 aircraft with manufacturers Airbus, Boeing and Bombardier. On August 25, 2011, Delta ordered 100 Boeing 737-900ER aircraft for delivery between 2013 and 2018 as it retires older mainline jets and upgrades its fleet. The new aircraft are intended to improve the company's profitability. On May 22, 2012, Delta agreed to sublease 88 AirTran Boeing 717 aircraft from Southwest Airlines. Delta began refurbishing all domestic and two-class regional jets with economy comfort seats in 2012. All international aircraft already received economy comfort in 2011. On September 4, 2013, Delta ordered 10 Airbus A330-300 HGW for fleet expansion and 30 A321s. On June 2, 2014, Delta ordered an additional 15 A321 aircraft. Delta Airlines officially retired its DC-9s from mainline services on January 6, 2014, but were used on a needed basis until January 22. On November 20, 2014, Delta ordered replacements for its Boeing 747-400 and 767-300ER jets. The 50-jet order was split between 25 Airbus A330-900 Neos and 25 Airbus A350-900s. On June 10, 2015, Delta announced it would acquire 20 used Embraer E190 and order 40 new Boeing 737-900ER upon pilot ratification of tentative agreement. However, on July 15, 2015, Delta cancelled the orders after pilots rejected the tentative contract proposal. The following table represents Delta Airlines mainline fleet types and layouts in service as of October 13, 2015. Special liveries equals. Fleet gallery. Hover over each photo to view label detail. Fleet timeline. Historical Delta Airlines fleet. Delta Airlines had an all-Boeing fleet until its merger with Northwest Airlines. Boeing 737-700, Boeing 737-800, Boeing 757-200, Boeing 767-300, Boeing 767-300ER, Boeing 767-400ER, Boeing 777-200ER, Boeing 777-200LR, McDonnell Douglas MD-88, McDonnell Douglas MD-90. Retired fleet equals, Delta operated the DC-10 twice, once on lease from United before the L-1011s could be delivered, and again when Delta acquired Western Airlines in 1987. Delta experimented with Airbus A310 aircraft for 2 to 3 years after acquiring the planes from Pan Am. Initially Delta was impressed enough with the aircraft to order more of the same model, but these two were eventually withdrawn from service by the mid-1990s. Delta originally had DC-9-30s from the 1970s through 1992. Delta sold some of their DC-9-30s back to McDonnell Douglas, who sold them to Velojet, forming Velojet's initial fleet. Velojet would eventually become Delta's main Atlanta-based rival, AirTran Airways. However, Delta inherited a fleet of -30s in 2008 when they merged with Northwest Airlines. Two of these, N3322L and N3324L, had been delivered new to Delta in 1967. Delta Airlines and Alaska Airlines are the only surviving U.S. airlines that operated the Convair 880. Delta L-1011 TriStar aircraft included the long-range Series 500 model that was flown on international routes. The L-1011 is still the fastest family of subsonic passenger aircraft ever, and only behind supersonic carriers such as the Concorde and the Tu-144 in speed. Delta Airlines fleet prior to the jet era. Up until the late 1960s, Delta Airlines operated a fleet of propeller-operated aircraft, including among others, the Convair 340, Convair 440, Curtiss C-46 Commando, Douglas DC-3, Douglas DC-4, Douglas DC-6, Douglas DC-7, Fairchild Hiller FH-227, Lockheed Constellation, and Lockheed L-100 Hercules. The Curtiss C-46 Commando and Lockheed L-100 Hercules aircraft were operated as cargo aircraft. Delta Fleet in 1960 Delta Fleet in 1970 Delta Fleet in 1980 Delta Fleet in 1990 Delta Fleet in 2000 Delta Fleet in 2010 See also, Northwest Airlines Fleet, Delta Connection Fleet. References. Further reading, Pither, Tony. Boeing 707, 727 and KC-135. Air Britain Historians. ISBN 978-0851302362.